All right, you guys, there comes a time in every man's life where he creates his masterpiece. This video may be it. You're about to get exactly what the title describes, 10 sources of free books that you can resell on Amazon for big profits, not the super obvious lame ones like ask your friends for books or whatever. I'm talking about consistent, proven sources that honestly, if you wanted to, you can build an entire business around. Now, I always say you can build a whole business off of what I give away for free in my videos, fbamastery.com, etc. You can build a whole business off of this video. So, is this too good to be true? Well, let's find out. Here's what you're about to learn. Part one, I'm going to just cover this very briefly. The 3 reasons that there are massive amounts of free books everywhere. Part 2, I'm going to cover what you came for, the bulk of this video. I'm going to go through 10 sources of free books, consistent sources, so you can get off this video and start putting this into practice immediately. Now, I have to lead into these 10 sources with an explanation as to why, because it makes no sense. Why are there so many free books out there for the taking? Books are different than every other category, so I'm going to give you the 3 reasons that are specific to books, because otherwise you're going to sit back as you're going through these 10 sources and just be like, this doesn't work, I don't believe this, it makes no sense. But yes, people are actually giving away items that you can resell for a profit, valuable items in the form of books. And again, it makes no sense, but there's 3 reasons why this works. Number 1 is the difference between perceived value and actual value. Now, it sounds kind of complicated. It's actually really simple. Perceived value is the value that we sort of collectively as a society assume to certain products in the marketplace. Actual value is what people are actually willing to pay once you put those products in front of them. Now, I would argue there is no category that has a greater gap between perceived value and actual value than books. As a society, we consider books to be essentially worthless, right? You look at a garage full of books and someone's just like, I just want to get rid of these. They don't assign any value to them. The bigger the gap between the perceived value and the actual value, the more room for profit. And because books have such a low perceived value, that allows us to actually get tons of them for free. Number 2 reason it's so easy to find free books that you can resell is that books are cumbersome. They're heavy. When you get a bunch together, they're big and they're obnoxious, and it's usually the first thing that anyone wants to get rid of when they're doing spring cleaning, or if you're a business like a thrift store, it's the first product you want to get out the door. Because again, they're just heavy, they're hard to move, they're just like logistically challenging. And so when you combine that with the low perceived value, that's usually the first product that any business or person just wants to get rid of. Number 3 reason it's so easy to find free books, the world is drowning in books. There is such a massive overabundance of books in this society that thrift stores have more book donations than they can handle. Library book sales, same problem. The average person has, I forget the stat, but it's like, several $1,000s of books just laying around their house. The world is there's just an overabundance of used books in the society. And so when you combine all 3 of these things together, it's the perfect storm to get massive amounts of profitable inventory totally for free. Okay, before we get to the top 10 sources of free books, let me get this out of the way. I wrote a whole article version of this video that's actually goes in a little more in depth than I'm able to in the video. I might post a link at the top of the page here, or at least below this video. You'll see a link to fbamastery.com. You can read that article. Number 2, if we've not been introduced, my name is Peter Valley. I've been selling on Amazon for over 15 years at this point. I do the website fbamastery.com, and I am pathologically cheap. I am the biggest, basically I'm like a book selling version of a panhandler, okay? I'm absolutely disgraceful at the extent to which I will go to get free stuff. And that includes books, which kind of makes me an expert in this particular subject. Also, gotta mention, if you do not subscribe to my YouTube channel right this very second, I will personally come to your house when you're not home and rearrange all your furniture. I swear to God, I will do it. Do not test me. Subscribe to the YouTube channel right now. And lastly, your mission right now, get all my free stuff. You can build a whole business off of what I give away for free at fbamastery.com. Link below this video. Free reports, free web classes. It's bonkers. Hit the link now. Okay, let's get into it. So we're going to start with 4 online sources of free books. Then I'm going to move to 6 offline sources. So let's start with the 4 online sources. Free book source number 1, buy, sell, trade Facebook groups. Now, if you don't use these for other reasons, there's a very good chance you don't even know these exist. There are thousands and thousands of Facebook groups themed around people buying, selling, and trading anything on earth. And the reason you might not know about these is they're all hyper local, right? So if you're in like Naples, Florida, there's gonna be a Naples, Florida buy, sell, trade Facebook group. There's any town of consequence, almost guaranteed, has a group like this. Okay, so if you don't know about this, just search buy, sell, trade. They may have different names. Do a little bit of searching. It should be pretty easy for you to find one of these groups in your area. Again, if your town has a population of greater than 0, there's going to be a Facebook group for this. So the move here is as follows. You just simply do a post in the buy, sell, trade Facebook group, and you just simply say, hey, I'm offering free pickup of any unwanted books. Now, there's a lot of kind of schools of thought here about what exactly to divulge. On one end of the spectrum, there's people that think you should always be 100% forthright about the fact that you're an Amazon reseller. And on the other end of the spectrum, there's people that say, you know what, obviously you shouldn't lie, but maybe don't just put that out there front and center, right? So actually what I do is I just say I'm a book lover, and I'm going to take the books I want from your collection. I'm going to find good homes for the rest, and I will only recycle as a last resort. All of that is 100% factually true. And so I don't actually say I'm a reseller, but I am going to find homes for all the books that I possibly can. And I actually don't even personally, I rarely actually recycle any books. I take them to free libraries or whatever. So I'm actually kind of underselling what I offer. But anyway, lots of ways to go about this. Another one I like a lot that I've seen people use is, hey, I specialize in rehoming books. So again, which I think is a great way to put it. So again, because these are groups to buy, sell, and trade things, one thing to keep in mind is there may be different rules about exactly what you're allowed to do, because you're not actually buying, selling, and trading when you're offering to pick up books. So one way to frame it is you're offering a free pickup service to pick up unwanted books, right? So in that case, you actually are compliant with any potential rules. Free book source number 2, the Nextdoor app. This one has gotten insanely popular recently. Not even that recently, but it's gotten insanely popular the last few years. You search Amazon seller Facebook groups, people have crazy success stories about how many free books they're getting posting in the Nextdoor app. Now, if you don't know what the Nextdoor app is, it's basically just like a social network, but it's on a regional level. So it's basically people posting anything relevant to their immediate area. So again, very similar to the buy, sell, trade Facebook group, but it's also for lots of other things like, can anyone recommend a dentist in the area, things like that, right? So basically a social network for your neighborhood. Now, this works exactly the same way virtually as the Facebook groups. All you're doing is you're just doing a post or just say, hey, I offer free book pickup, everything I just talked about, right? Just get your pitch down, short and sweet. That's all there is to it. And again, people are having crazy success with this one. If you don't know what the Nextdoor app is, don't worry about it. It's not complicated. There's no learning curve. Just download it. It will become immediately apparent how it works. You can hit the ground running. Free book source number 3, Facebook Marketplace. Now again, this works almost the exact same way as the last two. All you're doing is making a post in Facebook Marketplace, offering free book pickup. You've already got your pitch dialed in from the last two, right? So you should have just the same pitch. You can just post in all 3 places. Works out, and actually a 4th one we'll get to in a second. Works out really, really well. You enter the price as $0, and you're simply saying, hey, I'll offer free book pickup. And if you go to your local area right now, your Facebook Marketplace in your local area, you will see probably a few people already doing this. I don't live in that big of a town. There was at least 3 other people doing these posts, which in no way means that it's saturated. It just means you just gotta have a better post than they do. So the ones I saw in my area are terrible, by the way. Like the image is just like a stock image of like a cartoon, drawing of book. It's terrible. So it's very easy to be better than your competition. Don't worry about that at all. And again, it's all about your pitch, about the headline, about the photo. Now, I will say I have heard people say that they believe this is against the rules of Facebook Marketplace, in the sense that you're not allowed to solicit anything. I don't know if that's true. All I know is that tons of people are doing this, and they're the canary in the coal mine. If they're doing it, doesn't mean I can't do it, so we can all do it. Now, there's actually another way to get free books from Facebook Marketplace, which is not to post that you're willing to pick them up, but actually capitalize on other people who have already posted they got free books available to pick up. So all you have to do with this is just go to the marketplace, search for the word books, enter the minimum maximum price is $0, and see what comes up. And there's a very good chance there are multiple people offering free book sets, collections. Again, a lot of people offering free individual books, which is kind of funny, but I guess kind of cool too if you just want one book. But it's rarely going to work out for resellers, right? But you'll often get people that are giving away purging huge collections. Now, actually, there's a whole separate video I can make, and I probably will, about how to vet bulk book collections so you're not wasting your time, because the vast majority of people that are offering book collections for sale, and this would go if you're offering to pick up books as well, the vast majority of the time, it's all duds, right? So the question becomes, how do you vet these? It's too big of a subject to get into right now. I do have an article on FBAmastery.com. I think if you search for guide to buying books in bulk or something on the actual website, that article will come up, and I tell you what questions to ask, how to avoid wasting your time. Number 4 source of free books, you knew I was going to get to it, our old dear friend, that comfortable, it's like an old stuffed animal that we just snuggle up to. Take a moment here to appreciate Craigslist. Now again, just like Facebook Marketplace, there's 2 sides to this. There's posting, hey, I'll pick up your books, and there's capitalizing on people already offering free books, okay? So let's start with the first one. So again, all the same things apply, same pitch. Just get your statement down, get it down to 1 paragraph. Here's what I'm offering. Here's what I can do. Here's why you should allow me to come to your house and not murder you and pick up your books. So the question becomes with that pitch, where do you post it in Craigslist? There's lots of different places. So there's a little bit of debate about this. I post in the free section. Now, again, I'm not offering anything for free. But I am, in a sense, I'm offering free pickup of unwanted books. There's other people that post their posts in the books section. And then there's people that think that labor is actually the best place to post, the labor/move section, where, in other words, where people go to like hire manual labor. I can see the argument for the last one. I tend to think you should go where most of the eyeballs are. And so the free section, I think, has most of the traffic on Craigslist. I think you should post in the free section. Other people think labor and move. Other people then, actually, still a third group of people think books is where you should post. You can split test it. I never have. I always just post in free. Okay. Then there are people offering free books, which again is posted in the free section. It's not terribly common to find a good collection of books that makes me salivate, that makes me even think there's even a chance these books might be worth money in the free section on Craigslist. It does happen, however. So I do not recommend every single day or every hour, every minute, you checking the free section on Craigslist looking for books. That would not be an efficient use of your time. But one thing you can do is automate the process. Now, this is way too big for a video here, but there are ways you can set up alerts in Craigslist, and there's actually services that even further automate the process of letting you know, hey, when anything pops up in the free section on Craigslist that has the word, books in it, you get a text message, you get an email. You can do this on Craigslist. There's ways to actually like supercharge your automation. Again, way too much to get into, but that is an option. I recommend not checking Craigslist free section every single day. Now we're getting into what I think is the most fun part of this video, which are the 6 offline sources. I don't like staring at a screen any more than I have to. I always consider the offline sources of inventory to be the nearest and dearest to my heart. So I think it's a lot of fun. So number 5, I'm going to get the weird one out of the way first. The one that's going to cause the most number of people to just shut off this video and walk away in disgust: dumpster diving. Now, here's my history with dumpster diving, you guys. I started dumpster diving when I was, 14 years old. Not because I was poor. We were pretty much middle class, but because it was fun. I love the idea. It's like pulling an arm on a slot machine. You lift a dumpster lid, you never know what you're going to find. I actually started my dumpster diving career at a local thrift store, and they would throw away bazillions of books, but I was like too young to even care about that at that point. I wasn't selling anything. I would just go for like the free random stuff, gifts for my girlfriend. I would find the dumpsters. Like, I love dumpster diving. Okay, so I have posted literally, if you go to fbamastery.com right now and you search for the word dumpster, I think there are something like 15 or 20 different articles I've posted on dumpster diving. Now, at this point, the only reason I talk about dumpster diving, because I learned the hard way, only reason I talk about this is purely for my own self-amusement. What I learned is that these articles get the most traffic. In other words, people are like interested, like, ooh, that's really like sensational and weird, dumpster diving for books to sell on Amazon. But ultimately, almost nobody will put this into practice. Now, this is kind of my personal challenge to you, to not be part of the masses, the 99.9% that'll never do this. Because I know I don't get any feedback from people that go, hey, I read your articles about dumpster diving, I went out and did it myself. That almost never happens, unlike my other posts or in videos. Dumpster diving, people are freaked out. And there's a couple reasons for that. So there's really 4 reasons that I think Amazon sellers are completely resistant to this idea of dumpster diving. Number 1 is people simply don't believe that valuable books would be thrown away. They think it just doesn't make sense. Why would you take something that you can sell on Amazon for 20, 30 bucks and throw it in the trash? There's just a disbelief around that happens at all. It just sounds too good to be true. Part 2 is it's inconsistent. There's no way I can give you a list of potential dumpsters in your area and just go here and you will find profit, okay? It's going to be very inconsistent. Your local library may not throw away books. My local library does by the thousands. So again, very inconsistent. Number 3 reason it's related, which is that people just don't know where to go. They don't even know where to start. They don't even have any idea what the potential dumpsters might be that would actually potentially have books. So their brains just freeze up. And number 4, people are just scared of digging through trash. They don't like the idea, either concerned it's illegal, or they think they have to like get in and like fight their way through like fish heads and apple cores or whatever. Like, they're just scared of the idea of having to dig through trash. Okay, I kind of get it, but man, look, when there's cash in there, would you jump in the dumpster for cash? If you saw a pile of cash in a dumpster, would you jump in? The answer is probably yes. But then people see a pile of books that directly translate to cash and go, no, can't do it. And by the way, this is too much to get into here in this video, but you almost never have to actually like get in the dumpster to get the books, by the way. But again, we're getting off track. I could probably rattle off easily a dozen different types of businesses or different places where I've found books in their trash. And again, I could give you my list, but it may not apply to your area. So I'm gonna give you the top 3 that I think are gonna be most consistent, and I want you to build your list from there. Number 1 is public libraries, as I referenced a second ago. Public libraries, yes, it is a tragedy they throw books away. It should not happen. I think they should be criminally charged and publicly shamed for throwing books away, but libraries throw books away by the truckload oftentimes. Number 2, kind of the same, but also very, very different. College libraries. College libraries throw away a very different kind of book, but still throw away massive amounts of books. And number 3 is thrift stores. Thrift stores often will just point, I've worked at thrift stores, so I've seen it happen. They'll just get a huge book donation. They'll just go, look, we don't have room for this. These books are heavy. Just throw them out. It happens. It happens a lot. And so you'll very, very often find books in the dumpster that never even hit the shelf. So those are my top 3, but there's many, many others. Do not shy away from the source. Promise me you will at least give it a chance. It is criminal how many Amazon sellers think this is just some weird thing that Peter Valley talks about and not an actual viable, consistent source of free inventory when it really, truly is. Number 6, I love this one. Library sale discards. Every single library book sale in the country, when the sale is over, has many, many thousands of books that they did not sell. So the question becomes, where do these books go? Well, there's a couple things that could happen. They may have a deal worked out with a big-time either book recycler, recycling company, or a book reseller. Better World Books is a big one. They have a whole library program. You can see right here. They have a whole library program where they work out arrangements with libraries. They pick up books after book sales, and they resell them. So what you want to do here, here's the move. You got to find out what they're doing with their books. So go to a library book sale. You approach somebody who is in charge. Just ask, hey, who's in charge of the sale? Talk to them. And I'll just simply say, hey, what are you doing with the books that you don't sell at the end of the sale? At which point they will either say, again, oh, we have an arrangement with somebody to come pick them up, in which case you probably can't compete with them, so it's probably not going to work out. They'll say, well, we just recycle them, or they may have some third answer. But probably they're just going to say, oh, we're just going to throw them away. And so at which point, if they don't have a deal worked out with somebody else, you just simply say, hey, listen, I will pick these up for free. I will do all the work. I will back my truck up. I will load them. I will do all the work. Your volunteers can all just go home after the sale. I'll take care of everything if you'll let me have your books. Now, this is a very, very appetizing offer to library book sale organizers. The reason being, it's a lot of work to empty a sale at the end of the sale, right? You've got volunteers that have to pack them in the boxes, do a bunch of labor. So again, if they don't have a deal worked out with somebody else, there's a very, very good chance they will just give you the books in exchange for your labor and just getting them out of their way. You're basically alleviating them of a problem. Now, one question you might have, which is totally valid, is why would I go and pick up the leftovers of a library book sale that have already been picked over by a million other sellers probably, where there's probably no value there, when I could just go to the library sale myself and just get the valuable books and not be stuck with 99.5% of duds? Very good question. So I will only do this at library sales where, number 1, the books are really, really expensive. So again, it just kind of like eats into the margins too much. So it just makes the vast majority of books like unprofitable. And number 2, if they don't have a bag sale at the end. So you guys probably know library book sales have a bag sale oftentimes at the end where like the last day you come in and just all you can fit in a bag. If there's no bag sale and the books are really expensive, that's a perfect recipe for getting tons and tons of profit off the leftovers. And if you're still thinking, well, they're still picked over by other sellers, I don't know what to say. This would be a good time to remind you that your competition almost never has any idea what they're doing. Your competition is almost always completely terrible. So I don't care if there's 50 Amazon sellers in a library book sale. They are going to leave massive numbers of profitable books behind because, again, most sellers don't know what they're doing. Free book source number 7, selling on consignment. Now, I'll say this about this particular source. This is the one I probably have the least amount of personal experience with, although I've certainly done it. But it also, I think, has the greatest potential to be profitable. In other words, of all the sources I'm talking about here, this was the one, if you had to pick one to focus on, this is the one that has the greatest potential to making you a ton of money. So here's how it works. You just simply approach anyone who has lots of books. It could be a business. It could be a thrift store. It could be a Friends of the Library chapter. It could be a professor. Anyone that has lots of books, and you just simply say, hey, I will list your books on sale for Amazon for you, and I'll give you a percentage of the sale. 30% is a good amount. There's probably some debate there. I'm not an expert on consignment. But again, you're giving them a cut of the profits in exchange for giving you access to their books, listing the ones that are profitable for sale, and then again, divvying out the proceeds afterwards. So again, what you're basically doing here is getting access to books that otherwise wouldn't be for sale or end up in the trash or just otherwise not actually make it to Amazon. and you're turning those books into cash. It's win-win for everybody. You get your cut. The person who owns the books gets their cut. Everyone's happy. And the inventory is 100% free for you. Number 8 source of free books, dorm dumpster donation bins. Now you're probably like, what the heck is he talking about? I don't even know what I'm talking about half the time, but I do know what I'm talking about with this one. If you've never dumpster dived, it's not a dumpster diving one, but if you've never dumpster dived, you probably will not fully understand the extent to which college students throw out virtually everything they own at the end of the semester when they're moving out of the dorms. I would challenge anyone to go to any dormitory dumpster at the end of the semester when everyone's moving out, stick your head in and not be absolutely just heart palpitation, stroke level, completely freak out, meltdown over what you see in that dumpster. It is staggering what students will throw away. And if you're a parent, you should be concerned because this is stuff you're paying for. So your kids are probably taking your cash, turning it into stuff for their dorm, and then tossing it at the end of the semester. It's insane what students throw away. So eventually, at some point in history, I started noticing this about 6 or 7 years ago, where large thrift store chains started to figure out that students throw away tons of stuff at the end of the semester. And they started to put actual donation bins, Goodwill does this, donation bins next to the dumpster. And the bins will just say, hey, don't throw out your stuff, put it here. So these thrift stores are smart. Now, it's still not very common. These thrift stores are only going to do this at the big state schools. That does not probably cover the 90% of schools out there where nobody's doing this right now. So your job is to copy what these thrift stores are already doing and just do it yourself. Take a bin. It could be, again, you don't want to invest in a huge metal bin because you probably don't have the budget for that. But some sort of like cardboard box receptacle, anything that, or even just like a wheeled, like a laundry cart, anything, right? Put it between the back door of the dumpster, or the dorm rather, and the dumpster. All the students are going to see it with a sign that says, hey, please donate your usable goods here or whatever, and put it wherever a student will see it, where they have to see it before going to the dumpster, and then just collect it at the end of the day. Now, it's very easy to find out when move out day is. That should be very easy. It's usually narrowed down to like a few days. All this stuff's pretty easy. It still raises some questions of like, again, like what kind of bin works best? A cardboard box with a slit on top. Do you want to make it specific to book donations? Do you want to just take whatever people are willing to donate? Is this, will the schools even care if you're doing this? It raised lots of questions. All that really matters, you got some kind of receptacle that's easily marked that students can put their valuable stuff in. Man, there's so much potential with this. Okay, number 9 is one that I really don't think I would believe this works unless I'd seen it in action myself. So the story is this. My ex-girlfriend, who used to run an Amazon bookselling business, she set up a website, a very, very simple one-page website. It was on like Wix.com or something, just really basic. And it was like, hey, I will purchase or pick up for free books in my area, in this area. I won't say where she lived, but in this area, contact info, a little bit about her business, a picture of her and her cat, like just a basic one-page website. It was like, contact me. I will buy books in bulk, and I'll also pick up your books for free. And so simple. It was like, if she had told me that she'd done this in advance, if she'd like mentioned I'm about to do this, I would have tried to talk her out of it. And crazily, I cannot explain this, she somehow ranked as a third, like somewhere between like third and fourth result, it would change, for sell books in, and again, I won't say the name, but her area. She rose to the top of her search results above like actual bookstores. And again, she was offering to buy books, but she would very, very regularly get people contacting her just saying, hey, I remember one time she got a huge score from an estate sale. A person organizing an estate sale said, hey, we got like thousands of books left over from this estate sale. Can you just come pick them up? She would consistently get people coming to her saying, hey, will you come get these books off our hands? And it was a very, very consistent source of very high quality, oftentimes, free books for her. So setting up a website, again, it sounds crazy. It sounds like that would never work. How would anyone ever find my website? But again, she had no background in like search engine optimization or anything. She ranked towards the top, and this is a very consistent source for her. So I have to pass it on to you. Number 10 on our list, the last one, and the one that has made me the most money personally, is discarded books from college libraries. Now, most people have no idea the trend that has accelerated in the world of college libraries for the last 5 to 10 years, which is the books are being purged by the millions all across the country from libraries every single year because the role of libraries in a college context has shifted. I actually have a friend who is a master's librarian science. She's a librarian at a major university library. And she's confirmed this with me. The idea of what a college library is changing. It's going from a place where you go to read books to a place that's essentially a lounge. Now, I consider this to be like pretty tragic, but it doesn't change the fact that books are being purged by the millions. I'm going to post some articles right here. You can search for this yourself and confirm this is happening all over the country. It's absolutely bonkers, but it presents a major, major opportunity for Amazon sellers to capitalize on this. So the idea here is this. You go to the college library, you find the person in charge, you say, hey, what do you do with books that are culled from your stacks? And that's a little bit of lingo there, but what do you do with books you're throwing away? Now, more than likely what they're going to tell you is they send them to the college surplus department. Most big colleges have a surplus department that just deals with, desks that are discarded or, scientific equipment and books. So if that's the case, the next move is to go to the college surplus department and figure out what they do with them and maybe work out something with them. But if they go to the college surplus department, chances are you're not going to be able to get them for free. They already have a way to liquidate them. There's a very good chance that books just get recycled, in which case you can say, hey, look, and this is going to be very appealing to librarians. You can say, hey, look, I will find these books homes. These books should not end up in a recycling bin. I will find these books homes, almost all of them. What can we work out? And again, it's absolutely insane the degree to which books are being purged all across the country right now from college libraries. Now, and I'll post an article right here too. You'll see here that it actually represents a public relations nightmare for colleges because when people find out that books are being thrown away, people tend to get really upset. Some people. And so another way you can kind of pitch to them is like, look, like people don't want to, it actually kind of sounds like a threat, but like you don't want people to find out that books are getting thrown away. Like this is a great PR move for you as a library to you can actually now say to people, these books are being found good homes. So the kind of books you're going to get from a college library are going to be very, very different than what you find at a public library. Again, you're talking about very, very niche, what we call long tail books. They're going to have a very, very high percentage of them will actually be, quote, worth money, but a very high percentage will actually be very, very slow selling as well. That's my experience with college library books. You get tons of books that are ranked, have an average rank of like 4 million or worse, like really, really poorly ranked books, but books that tend to actually have a very, very, on average, of a much, much higher value than the average book you'll find at a thrift store or some other source. So you take the good with the bad, but man, is this an insane opportunity that's happening right now for Amazon booksellers all across the country. Okay, you've now got a 3-part mission. Are you ready? Mission number 1, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm going to put a link at the top, the link below this video. You can subscribe a million different ways. Super easy, absolutely mandatory. If you don't do it, again, I will come to your house and rearrange your furniture. You don't want that to happen. Mission number 2, get all my free stuff. You can build a whole business off of what I give away for free at fbamastery.com. Hit the link below this video. Got free reports, free web classes, all that stuff. Mission number 3, take what you learned in this video, as I said, and go put it into action. That's it, you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Peter Valley signing off. I'll see you in the next video.